I don't know what happened. It's I don't know what happened, but I'll wait for everybody to get back in here before I push play again. I don't know. I don't have an answer. It told me something about the audio, and then it just kind of cut off. I have no clue. It just disappeared on me. So let's do that. Let me wait for everybody to kind of get back in here, and then we'll go back to play. My apology. I have no clue. It went to my headphones, and then it was like no audio and just cut off. I have no clue. So I didn't even like set this one up or anything. I just kind of like went back live again. I have no clue. So stupid. Let me see here. So I'll give it a minute to let everybody come in so we can kind of like finish this one up, and then I'll finish playing it. My apology. But while people are following in, guys, let me see what updates we have out here. It still say I'm live though. That is so weird. I don't even know what that's about. It say I'm live there. It say I'm live in that other room. I don't. Holy moly, holy moly, holy moly, holy moly. Let me go in here and I don't know. It's saying I'm still live, but I can't. It told me I wasn't live. I don't know. Let me go in here. Yeah, I don't know how to switch that part, but okay. So I'm gonna end that stream over there. Now I'm gonna have to figure out how to put these two together in some type of way. So silly. Yeah, that's kind of like what it did to me. I don't know. It's like the weirdest thing. Hey, real happy. Um, yeah, it was the weirdest thing. Like it went on my headphones, and before I can like connect it and put it somewhere else, it just said fuck. It just basically told me, "F you. We don't care nothing about that, and we're gonna end the stream." Remember, guys, we are using a different type of streaming platform, but I was never expecting for that to kind of happen, but it did. It is what it is. Um, Let me see here. So, and then it told me I was still live. That's the other crazy part is that when you go in there, it says I'm still live, and that can't be the case, right? Because if I was still live, then my chatters, my crew, my gang would still see me and would still see things. So I just kind of like hurry up and put like a part two on this. Like I didn't even put a title or nothing. It's like stupid as far as I'm concerned. I don't know why it happened. It's more bigger thing. So, but I'll let people file in while we wait for people to file in, and we'll get back to Muffled Man. I'm gonna call him the Muffled Man testimony. I'm gonna give it just a couple minutes here, guys, and then we'll get back to the testimony. Um,
Whoa, yeah! Courtroom packed and the cameras on. Folks all whispering won't be long. No more smirks and no more lies. Judge looked down with narrowed eyes. Bailiff waiting by the side door, steel-toed but the jury room still got them locked. Hear the cell doors locked, no parole board, baby, round the clock. One-way trip and the bus won't stop. Everybody clap to the L-Wop-Bop. No appeal gonna save ya on a jumpsuit tailor-made flavor. Sing that feeling when the gavel drop. That's the rhythm of the L-Wop-Bop. That's the rhythm of the L-Wop-Bop. Mama crying in the second row, but the fist still talking, but it's moving slow. State democracy's in the precious seat. Now the whole room barely even breathes. With the talk big for the TV lights. Now it's a long breaks and not easy nights. Funny how the swagger disappeared before a single word got cleared. L-Wop-Bop. Hear the cell doors locked. No parole board, baby, round the clock. One-way trip and the bus won't stop. Everybody clap to the L-Wop-Bop. No appeal gonna save ya on a jumpsuit tailor-made flavor. Sing that feeling when the gavel drop. That's the rhythm of the L-Wop-Bop. The L-Wop-Bop. That's the rhythm of the L-Wop-Bop. Case pause, courtroom tense. Everybody waiting on the consequence. One deep hush through the parking lot to the beat of the L-Wop-Bop.
Hopefully that gave everybody enough time to come on in here. We will go ahead and get started. It just kind of left off right where he was at, right? Because that's where he was at. I wish he would take this damn mask off. I'm still trying to figure out this whole mask thing, but you know, whatever. I don't know what that. I don't know what the mask thing about. And I want him to approach the bench and tell me what the mask is about in 2026. Unless he's sick, maybe he's sick, and that's why he got it on. But I have no clue, and it's making him sound muffled. And he's the only person up there at the microphone, so I just feel like he should take it off. Like, just take it off. There's no reason to have it on, in my opinion. But who am I? I am nobody. I'm just here. Okay, here we go, guys.
Unless he had agreed not to speak, why would he be prohibited from talking? He ain't prohibited from talking. He's only prohibited because he entered into some kind of agreement admitting his guilt, because he was guilty and he knew it. He's still down here defending the man who took the stand and said, I perjured myself. He was still down here defending his employee, talking about his employee did a good job. The man was never trained as a forensic biologist. He was never trained in crime scene investigation. But Mr. English still defended him. You know why? That's what he gets paid to do. He does not charge a flat fee. He gets paid by the hour. You submit to him a case and say, what do you think about this, Rod? If he says the guy is innocent, you know his total fee is $575. That may be split up depending on how quickly he reached that conclusion. So he only gets paid if he extends his, whatever he's doing, whatever he calls it, flies down here, gives testimony. Because he's charging by the hour. So when I asked him, hey, what is the total bill? He said, oh, I don't have it yet. I'm still charging. I'm still charging. Right? He testified on Monday. He testified on Monday in this case. On Monday, we had maybe one or two brief witnesses. Got him pretty quick, remember? Now, last week, y'all had to sit through a 2-hour video. Remember that? Remember, you couldn't go home on Friday because you had to sit here for 2 hours, right? That's because Ron can't get down here to Monday. So they're playing for 2 hours, torturing everybody in the room, a video, the audio of an interview, when the man had already testified. He had already testified. The officer had already testified as to what he said. They ain't played just the portion they needed. They just took 2 hours, and after that 2 hours, you then went home. So Ron was also eating up part of your life as you are about to make a serious decision. Because Ron can't fly in until Monday. Ron can't fly in until Monday. The reason the photographer was mistaken for Ron is because Ron wouldn't go to the crime scene in that case. He sent the photographer in his stead. Ron had come down here to look at nothing but pictures. He said it's his second time down here. It was his second time down here. Same for the other expert, so-called expert. Now you may be asking yourself, it's pretty expensive to prosecute people. Why is it expensive for the state to prosecute people? The state has the Georgia Bureau of Investigations. They could get those experts for free if they're willing to give that testimony. He went outside the system because he couldn't get anybody else to come in and make those claims. That's why you have private experts testifying in a public trial. Because Mr. Edwards decided to use taxpayer money to do something that he couldn't get done through the GBI. You know why? Because this stuff wasn't adding up. That's why. But there's no slowing Mr. Edwards down. When he got his mind made up, there's no slowing him down. There's no slowing him down. It's skipping steps. We know he's guilty. We ain't gonna do it. Even Ron English said you gotta have a confirmatory test. No, but ain't no slowing him down. It's the officer saying on the witness stand, hey, wait a minute. We're still looking. We ain't got no certificate of death. We don't have all these other things. Well, officer, let me ask you this. What day did she die on? I don't know. Now, does it sound like Mr. Edwards is listening to the people who have been investigating the case from the very beginning, or taking it into his own hands? That's exactly what he was doing. She's saying that she doesn't know because she doesn't know. The whole case, the whole theory of the case makes no sense if you think about it. They had this boy the whole day. They had him using the car on video. They even have him using the car at 8 o'clock that night. Now, they haven't come back to emphasize that. Once I pointed out, what was the window for him to kill her in? They had him using the car at 8 o'clock that night. They knew exactly where he was at. Remember, after I asked about GPS and being able to track somebody's phone, they said, oh, you could be anywhere. You can be anywhere in Albany. When they put the slides up, he went anywhere. You could see the street address. You can see his exact location. They talk about everything except for how the crime actually happened. We spent most of the trial just trying to get the blood straight. Even if you believe it's blood, they never proved that it's the blood of Miss Toomer. There's no DNA matching on whatever they claim they were looking at, that none of the tests confirm. The only DNA matching is above. It was a very small amount. If you want to call it blood, so be it. A very small amount of some fluid that was in the headliner that matched a woman who rode in that car all the time. That matched a woman, if you look at the little incident they got into, she was bleeding that day when they got into that fight. It certainly is not enough for you to jump to the conclusion that Ms. Toomer was shot to death in a small vehicle, with there being no gunshot powder residue anywhere. When you fire a gun, one of the things that comes out as that bullet is traveling are particles, and these particles are part of gunshot residue. That gets trapped into fabric, into clothing. They found absolutely no gunshot powder residue, but that didn't stop it. Getting back to how he committed the crime, if you take into consideration at 8 o'clock he's in a store using Ms. Toomer's card again, then he either committed the murder before he went into the store or after he left, but before he went to work that night. So they left Dawson, I think, the officer said around 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, to get back to Albany as he's preparing to go to work. So if you believe he killed her during that time, he has to shoot, kill her, then dispose of the body. The body, according to them, is just pushed out of the car. You will still be able to track the car off the road to wherever he presumably dug a grave, buried her inside, and covered it over where no one was able to find it. It is completely bizarre. This is completely a work of fiction with no happy ending. That's not the way, if there was a way, to get away with murder. This is something that would come from a television show. They have him in the middle of town when he gets back. That's confirmed by their own cell phone mapping. They have him, if you believe he killed her at some point after he left the store, killing her in the middle of town, not in some secluded area outside of town. The timeline doesn't work. If you look at the time and the location where he was at, there's no way that he killed this woman during the time that they say. That's why the officer said, I don't know. In the indictment, it says she died on August the 15th. I'm sure they may come back up here now that I've said it and try to say, hey, look, you don't have to find that she died on August the 15th. Well, they owe some investigation to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. They're putting the case to you now as though you could investigate this case from the jury box, which you cannot do. You can't issue subpoenas. You can't interrogate witnesses. They're asking you to do something that they couldn't do. Since the disappearance of Ms. Toomer, they haven't been able to find her. They claim that she died. I get that. But it took them an enormous amount of time to reach that decision and ultimately to get these experts. And they still haven't figured it out. Their case makes absolutely no sense. And it didn't start making sense because a man who was in jail in Terrell County did what every prisoner in jail does. which is he tries to get out of jail. They try to get out of jail by implicating somebody. The somebody to implicate obviously was Ryan Cooper, because the officer had come to talk to him on 2 prior occasions. He realized that he was valuable, and that's why he made up this story on Ryan Cooper. There has been no one to come in here and say they found brain matter in the roof. That was completely ridiculous. They're saying that his being in jail has nothing to do with this case. I grant you that. That's not the point. His wanting to get out of jail has something to do with this case. His wanting to get out of jail has something to do with this case. And he wants to use Ryan to do that, so he can get out of the prison that he got himself into. He can get out of the prison that he got himself into. What the state is asking is that you essentially help him get out of jail. That you essentially help them prosecute cases like this in the future, which not only would take away the life of an innocent young boy, but also cost taxpayers an enormous amount of money. The tab they'll ultimately get for using these private, whatever you call them, maybe $50,000, $60,000, or $70,000. The services they provided to the district attorney's office was free. The GBI gives the same testimony, only if it's warranted though. You can't get them on the case. You can't use the medical examiner to claim that someone died and to give a cause of death when they have no facts to rely on and they disagree with you. That's why there was no medical examiner from the state of Georgia called to testify. They don't explain that. Why didn't their own medical examiner call this a homicide? Why did they have to go and get someone who worked out of the UPS store and lives in South Carolina to come down here and, according to him, give an opinion that is so obvious that anyone in his field could see it? Like, I've been doing this for 30 years. I can tell DNA on sight. Well, if it's that obvious, then why didn't someone from the state's medical office sign off on it? Sound like it's routine if you listen to him. He got to stand, he sounded so confident, different than what he put in his cut and paste letter. When he was saying, you know, all of my observations, everything I'm telling you is dependent on actually examining the body. Him and Mr. Engler are nothing more than snake oil salesmen. They come to town, they tell you what you want to hear, they give you something that makes you feel good, and they make you think that they are exercising some kind of expertise, in which they're not. All these men were doing was getting paid and trying to secure a position in the Dory County District Attorney's Office where they could get paid in the future. Because one of the things you could take from the way they testify is that they want to come back to give the same kind of testimony, to pick up another check. That's why he was down here. That's why he was down here. This is a tragedy, not only because we have the disappearance of someone and we don't know why, but also because the state wants this young boy to pay for a crime that they never investigated, that they have ignored all the signs that point away from his guilt. And I would just ask that we not compound one tragedy with another. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, it is appropriate that we take a 15-minute break at this time, so I'll see you back at 5 till 11.
Where is Lacambria Toomer? That's what I asked y'all. That's what I posed y'all when I opened last week. Where is Lacambria Toomer? Lacambria Toomer is in that seat cushion. Lacambria Toomer is in that console. Lacambria Toomer is on that headliner that was above her head when the defendant shot her in the head. And today, I'm going to ask you to bring Lacambria Toomer home. And I'm going to ask you to find the defendant, Ryan Cooper, guilty as he is on each and every count. Now, before we get to the real case here, I want to address a few things that the defense pointed out. I want to go ahead and get that out of the way so we can actually get to the evidence and the facts of this case. The defense says, well, our investigation came to a stall, so we had to go get some paid experts. The investigation had not come to a stall. The investigation started with her mother, Melissa, reporting her missing on August 24th, 2022. And it continued daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Investigator Lacambria Peterson told you last week, this investigation ain't ended. We ain't found Cam. This investigation has not ended. We didn't need paid experts. We knew what happened to Cam. We don't need paid experts to try to bolster some case that's not there because it's there. They want to say, well, they didn't confirm this, they didn't confirm that. Why do you think when we found out that he shot her in the head, why do you think when we found out what happened, we had to go get experts to confirm that, to further the investigation? And then they want to talk about, well, Mr. Engler in this David Cam case. We're not here because of a state trooper who was found guilty 2 times for killing his wife. We're not here because of David Cam. We're here because of Cam Toomer. We're here because of Cam Toomer. That's what we're here for. Jumping to conclusions. We're not jumping to any conclusion. This case has been thoroughly investigated to the best of their ability. Well, they didn't find this when they swabbed right here. You gotta understand, and y'all heard, this wasn't one search warrant on that white Audi that he killed her in. This was the initial search where there was presumptive positive for blood. There was also some spots that weren't presumptive positive for blood on that first search. The first search when nothing was moved around, no seats were taken out, none of that. This is a car that has been sitting there, had a window shattered out, elements have been coming in, dirt's in there, the duration. You're probably going to pick up all kinds of stuff on swabs. But they continued to search and they tore that car apart. They tore that car apart. And the 3 main areas where they found blood, both APD and the GBI right, that the defense mentioned, the GBI, who told you her expert opinion it was blood. The defense is over here saying, why didn't they get the GBI? We did. She told you it's blood. Bianca Fox, biologist. She told you it's blood on the headliner. It's blood. My expert opinion. The test showed it's blood. It's blood on the seat. Oh, well, no blood's on the seat. Well, guess what? You got it right there. You got the fabric from the seat where the blood dripped down. What she said about item 6 was one side of the flap that's on the bottom of the seat, one side was positive, the other side wasn't. You got that right there. You got the console. Around the console tested positive. They're not going to keep testing every single thing. They've got 3 positives. And you know what else they got? They got her DNA on the roof of the car. They got her DNA. Her DNA. The child of Melissa Thornton. The only child Melissa Thornton has that is no longer alive. The only child that left in the car with Ryan Cooper screaming after he had drug her and I think Tevin said tussle with her. That child. They didn't get the GBI. They got paid. The GBI, medical examiners do autopsies. That's what they do for our office, the district attorney's office. We don't have a complete body to do an autopsy on because this defendant hit her. He hit her. The medical examiners, that's what they do for us. They're not crime scene reconstructionists. They do autopsies on bodies. You know, and this person discredited this person, and it's just, he works out of the UPS store. Dr. Downs is a medical examiner for the state of South Carolina, but he's also a private consultant. That's why he's up here talking to y'all. That's why he's up here on the case, because of his private consultancy. You think they're going to get up here, either one of them, Englert or Downs, and lie? Englert with 60-something years experience. Downs, a current medical examiner, a medical doctor who's worked with the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit, who's published a forensic book, and they had the same opinion about the blood as Bianca Fox. GBI. And then the defense says, well, no timeline. The timeline doesn't work. The timeline doesn't work. You're dead. Pull the trigger. You're dead. He was from Dawson to Albany. You're talking a span of 10 hours. You're talking a span of 10 hours. How do we know? Because we have the cell phone records. We have the cell phone records and we have his truck GPS records. The defense said, well, the cell phone record shows exactly where they're at. Well, first of all, that's not what the cell phone lady that testified said. And I think we all, with common sense, know that's not true. It tells you the area of the tower you're pinging off. It does not tell you you're at this person's at Walmart right now. We all know that. We all know that. We saw he was around in Albany. We saw he was over near Moultrie Road. He was all over the place in Albany. We don't know exactly where he's at. But if 10 hours ain't enough to shoot a person in the head, come on. We don't have to prove he hid the body in Albany. We don't know where he hid the body, but we know he hid it. We know he hid it because we know she's dead, and she died in his car. And then, well, Tevin tries to get out of jail. Well, let me ask you this. At the time they talked to Tevin, and Tevin gives the information about the window in Cooper's car, the defendant. Tevin gives you information about the headliner. describes it. I saw these little black, dark, reddish black dots, like where blood dries. He gives that information. Says he shot her. How does he know that before they've even broken the car down? Tevin tells that before we get all this. That's how we know Tevin's telling the truth. And he didn't get out of jail because he's right up here. He came right up here in his prison car. We're going to ask you to bring Cam home. To her mother, to her son, bring her home. Now let's talk about the real evidence in this case. What y'all heard and what y'all saw was a snippet of the defendant's violent behavior to Cam. And it's very important because all of this is the precursor to when he shot her. All of it. On July 17, 2021, if you'll remember, she runs up to an Anthony salon, Carolyn McLeod's salon. Let me in, let me in. She has a bra and one shoe, bleeding under her nose. Carolyn McLeod says, I thought of my own daughters and I let her in. So she says, I thought of my own daughters and I let her in. Carolyn McLeod said that she told her boyfriend was after her. But Carolyn McLeod saw that white Audi slowly driving by. She locks the door. She ain't letting nobody in. She told you that. I didn't let anybody in. Not even her own mother. Until the police get there. So some help gets there for this young lady. Not letting anybody in. And she saw Melissa getting out of the defendant's car. She sure wasn't letting her in. "911. Call comes in, pointing a gun at her. Who? Subject Ryan Cooper, pointing a gun at Cam. Pointing a gun at her. Pointing a gun. The defendant. EMS. What was the primary injury noted on that EMS report? The testimony from the aggravated assault incident in 2021 was an injury to the head. He's hitting her in the head. She even has a hematoma that was described in testimony as a goose egg, where he hit her. He probably hit her with that gun, that he always carries, that Glock that everybody's testified about, or either it's been put in some other way. And that she was in pain and distress, and that's what EMS Figueroa told you up there. That was her observation. She saw the hematoma, the goose egg on her head. Not only that, she had bruising on her body. There's a picture in evidence. There's actually two pictures in evidence. Bruise on her arm. So you heard from Officer Jarius Wilson, who was the responding officer to the salon that day. He detained the defendant. Remember, he said he put him down in prone position and detained him because of the firearm issue. Because this was a call that someone had a firearm pointing at Cam. And then he searches the defendant and he finds a magazine on him. Magazine on his person. He asked him about the gun. He reads the defendant his Miranda rights right there on scene. This is when we're still at the salon. Right there at the scene. Asked the defendant about this gun. And the defendant denied having a gun to Officer Jarius Wilson when he initially asked. Why did he do that? Because he's guilty of aggravated assault. Because he knows he pointed that gun at him. He denied having a gun. We know that's just not true. We know that the defendant left the salon went to Melissa Thornton's house, went to Cam's mom's house, and told her, you heard from her, told her your daughter just jumped out of a moving car. And she told you what she's thinking, I gotta go see about my baby. I gotta go see about my baby. So she gets in that car. She goes and gets in the white Audi, the passenger seat. And what does the defendant do? Hold on, I gotta go put something inside. Hold on. Melissa told you that. Melissa also told you that when she finally could talk to Cam that day, when she got back to the scene, that the defendant, Ryan Cooper, had pointed a gun at her. He pointed a gun at me. Remember, because Melissa said my baby didn't look right. She didn't look right. She's bleeding under her nose. She didn't look right. And how do we know the defendant was lying about having a gun? Because he went and hid it in Melissa's house. You got the picture right there in evidence. That's Melissa's couch, and there's a gun right up under there. The gun is recovered. The gun is recovered, and the magazine that you see above the gun was actually in the gun. And the gun was loaded. The gun was ready. If you remember Officer Harris testifying about that. The gun was loaded, ready to be fired. One in the chamber asked her about that. It was ready. The gun that he pointed at Cam that day was ready to be fired. This gun he keeps in his car. And they search his car. They search his car, that same white Audi. They find additional ammunition. You know, he's got a magazine on him, he's got the gun he's hid, he's got additional ammunition. They find Cam's torn shirt. Torn shirt. Torn, ripped down here from a violent, her trying to get away from his violence, jumping out of that car, leaving her shoe there, her purse there, leaving it all there, running for help to a salon. She didn't even know these people. She's knocking on the door. Let me in. And then the defendant, Officer Wilson finally, before he gets, the defendant gets interviewed by Investigator Perry, Officer Wilson asked him on scene, come on man, I just got word, you put a gun, I know you stashed a gun in that house up there, Melissa's house, I know you stashed a gun. He finally admits it to Wilson after he lied. But then he goes and is interviewed by Perry. Now remember, Wilson's still at the police station, and he testified to that because he was the person transporting him. And when Investigator Perry's interviewing him and starts talking about her injuries, he laughs. He laughs. Y'all remember that? Even Wilson, who came to the door, I was like, I don't know what you think's funny about this. She has got a hematoma on her head. She's bleeding. She's half naked. And he thinks it's funny? He thinks it's funny. You saw it. You heard it. It's a fact. He thought it was funny. He could care less. Moving on. March 28, 2022. Gertrude Sanders, the neighbor of Melissa Thornton, goes and gets Melissa because Melissa needs to go over there to get Cam and the baby away from the defendant. Cam had called her mama, come get me. So Gertrude's the one providing the transportation for Melissa. When they get there, the defendant's outside in this white Audi. Cam is inside and the door's locked. So they can't get in. She's got the door locked, probably to protect herself from him getting in, although he has a key, because he comes and unlocks it. Gertrude testified. She said, Cam told me he's going to kill me. Gertrude said, I told her mom. Like she's warning Melissa about the situation, how serious it is. And Gertrude testifies that they're just trying to get the baby in Cam. Cam's baby, the baby she had. He may be the biological father. There's no evidence he's the legal father. I asked Melissa about that. Beating her. That's what Gertrude said, beating her. As she's leaving, going down that wooden steps from the trailer, beating her. To the point it knocked the baby on the ground. A newborn baby. You heard Melissa, I thought my grandbaby was gone. I told you how serious it is. They got in the truck. But Gertrude also said that once Cam fell, that he walked over there to her. He walked over there to her. Kicked her. That's what she said. Stomped her. Now he thinks all this is funny, I guess, again. Kicked her and stomped her while she's on the ground. And when she gets up to defend herself, and yeah, I put in the pictures of this defendant with the marks that he had on him from her, the marks that he deserved, because the witness testimony is once that baby hits that ground and he's stomping on her, Cam gets up. She's had enough. He has messed with this baby. This baby could be injured. She gets up and fights back. And is he worried about little Jordan? Is he worried about little Jordan? No, he's not, because you know what he does? When she starts fighting back, he gets his cell phone to record. Typical domestic violence. Get a reaction from you. Oh, now look at her, how bad she is. I asked Gertrude Sanders, did he record any timeouts? Did he record when he was beating her? Oh no, he just did it then. Yeah, they were both charged, but it's clear by the evidence who the victim was. The same person who was a victim a year prior when a gun was pointed to her head, and he busted her lip, and she had some other marks on her that y'all had the photos and that y'all saw prior. And then we get up to April 9th, 2022 after this. There's another incident. 4 months before he kills her.
911, what's the emergency?
Yes, can y'all send somebody to 3302 War Eagle Avenue?
Okay, give me the address again.
3302 War Eagle Avenue.
Okay, 3302 War Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is this a house or an apartment?
It's a trail.
Okay, what's your phone number?
229 633 3126.
Okay, 229-633-3126.
Uh-huh.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Andrew Simmons.
That's what you said, Simmons?
Yes.
Okay, what's going on?
Well, my niece just ran around to my house and her boyfriend jumped on her.
Okay, where this happened at?
At her boyfriend's apartment.
That's in the same area?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your niece's name?
Her name Cam.
Okay, Pam?
Cam.
Okay, where is she right now?
She at my house at 3302 War Eagle.
Okay, and the boyfriend lives on what street?
What name of that street he stay on? Eagle Court.
Okay, what's his name?
What's his name, baby? What his name is? Ryan Cooper? Oh, Ryan Cooper.
Ryan Cooper? Okay, is she injured, man? Is she hurt? Or she was a paramedic, or she's okay?
She okay, she just crying.
Okay, where is he at right now? Where's Ryan?
Ryan, he's still at home, I guess.
Does he have any weapons, you know of? Does he have any weapons?
He didn't have no weapon, did he? He was beating her with his hand.
Okay, well, listen, they're being dispatched to you, ma'am. Give me a call back if anything does change, okay?
Okay.
All right.
And Andrew Simmons told you that she came there that evening with no shoes. She was crying. And Andrew said, and she was wet. And I asked, because I was like, well, thinking it was raining or something. I said, well, why was she wet? And she said it looked like she had wet herself. EMS testified the primary injury to her that day was her head. And I said, well, why do you have that on there? Head. He said, I have that on there because she said he was hitting her in the head. Her boyfriend was beating her, and she had visible bruising, he said. He could see that. I believe it was the left side of her face. The officer also saw the injuries on cam, the left side of her face, arm, and under her eye. That would be Officer McCrae. He saw the injuries. And Officer McCrae said, I went to the location to try to find the defendant because Cam, the victim in the case, had told me there was blood in the house. So I asked him, I said, well, when you went there, were you able to verify that blood? And he said, yes, he was. But the defendant was not there. And he took a warrant, and the defendant was not arrested until they found him in September due to Cam going missing. On August 24, 2022, Lacambria Toomer was reported missing. Her mom had seen her August 13, 2022 at the Walmart because Cam was going to go buying stuff for Jordan to give her mom, for her son to give the stuff to her mom. And when Cam got to the register, if you'll remember, she opens up her wallet to pay and her card's gone. Her card's not there. Well, we know where her card was. It was with the defendant. She spoke with Cam on the phone a little after that. And no further contact ever to her mom or to her son, which would have been through her mom. No video chat she used to do with her son. No presents for the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays, nothing. Years and years, no contact with her mom. And you will remember Melissa said, when I asked, is that normal for her not to contact you? And she said, well, she testified about sometimes there might be a couple of weeks, but when was that? That was when she was on the truck with the defendant, and if she wasn't around Wi-Fi, she could not contact her. Her mother talked about her getting an iPad, which was never found, or some sort of tablet. Some sort of tablet or pad so she could have more contact. But did she ever fall off the face of the earth? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When she reported her missing, Officer Newberry testified that he put a be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. So everybody would know. That he ran it or put it in through NCIC. So she popped up, some kind of driver's license issue, or popped up somewhere all over the United States. NCIC. National. Reached out to contacts. Investigator Battle, who was the initial lead investigator on the case, testified. She searched a warrant of Cam's phone. She contacted the defendant's job. She got truck records. Social media, putting out missing pictures, photos, posters, reaching out to people on social media, contacts, locations, and she interviewed the defendant. And remember, she went out on maternity leave. And Melissa, at some point, contacts the police. You better look at him. You better look at the defendant. This is right after she initially reported her missing. And what does Melissa do, Cam's mom? She calls the defendant multiple times continuously. He won't answer the phone. Of course he won't. He just killed her daughter. That's why he answered the phone. She even had other other people call from different numbers. He wasn't answering nobody. He wouldn't even talk to his parents, if you'll remember that, when they talked to him in his interview, battling them. Oh, you ain't been talking to your parents either, have you? You ain't been contacting them. No, well, not till I got arrested. Not till I got arrested. He had been avoiding his own family. And Battle knew that because she had talked with him. And you'll remember her mother even drove down to Valdosta because she says, I drove down there, I didn't even have a driver's license. I didn't care. I was going to find my baby. She did so much, we would be here for weeks to talk about the efforts Melissa, Cam's mom, made. And as I said, it was very unusual for Cam not to contact her. And Melissa testified that Cam had almost completed her schooling and was looking forward to that. She had been in contact with DFACS because Marissa Hanks had seen her on the August 11th. But they never heard from her again. She had been at Aspire on August 15th working on getting her psychological completed. Do you remember the psychological that the defense acted like there was some special reason she had to have? And Ms. Hanks said, no, that's for this kind of case, everybody on this kind of case has to have one. He had to have one too, he just didn't make no efforts. And we know she was at Aspire that day, because Ms. Hanks talked to her. No calls, no text. After August 15th, there was no initiation of calls, texts, messages, anything you can think of. There was no initiation from Lacambria Toomer to anyone. No signs of life. But there were pages of people trying to get in touch with her after August 15th. Pages. And not one person was successful. Not one person. Now, Lieutenant Peterson took over the case, but she had told you she had been Investigator Battle's supervisor, so she was familiar with the case. But she says, I want to start back and re-interview, do my own interview with the defendant. And what are some of the things the defendant says in the interview? Because they've been looking for this car. They've been looking for this car, this white Audi, the defendant's car. And what does he tell them? Well, it's his car, obviously, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. He does not drive it. He has not driven it since June, and it's parked in Valdosta at F's. Well, funny thing is that y'all saw on August 15th, it was parked in the Food Line parking lot. There it is, right there. The defendant, Ryan Cooper's white Audi, and on the passenger side, that window is halfway down, which means it's intact on August 15th. This was around lunchtime. This was around 12ish. The window is intact. How do we know it's Ryan Cooper? Because y'all saw the video with him walking to his car. And Lieutenant Peterson testified it was him. And we had previously seen him go check out. It's clearly him. Why would you hide your car from the police? There's only one answer, and that's because he knows what's in the car. He knows what happened inside that car. He does not want them to get a hold of the car. Because of all this, because of the blood, the headliner, all of that, that's why he's lying about the car. It was never confirmed that car was parked there. Matter of fact, they didn't even find the car until he got out of jail and they found out through his parents. Because his parents knew. Lieutenant Peterson had been talking with them, trying to find the car. They knew the police were looking for the car. The parents are the one that gave him up, gave his car up. And the defense alluded to the Family Dollar, where he went to Family Dollar in Albany a little after 8, which is on the screen. This is August 15th. Right there on the screen. Well, he was at Family Dollar, so he wouldn't have had time to kill her. He wouldn't have had time to fire one gunshot from a little after 4 till after after 12 midnight? Because that's how long, when they got back from leaving Tevin and them's a little after 4, got back to Albany. He was in Albany riding around doing whatever. We know what he was doing. Till after midnight. And in the interview, when asked, have you used Cam's car? Mm-mm. No. Haven't used Cam's car. No. I have in the past, but not recently. Do you have Cam's car? No, do not have Cam's car. Do not have Cam's car. Well, first of all, we know from the testimony he used her card at both Food Line and Family Dollar on August 15th, the same day he was driving the car that doesn't work. We also know, because it's in evidence, that this came out of his wallet, Lacambria Cam Toomer. We can all see that. He lied. Why? Because he killed her. Last thing with the defendant on August 15, 2022. We know that. We know he was at Tevin. We know he was at Tevin's house with her. We know Cam was there. And how do we know? We know from Joe Louis Jones, who's Tevin Davis's granddad. We know from Catherine Hall, who's Tevin Davis's the mother of his child. We know from Tevin Davis, and we know from the cell locations. There was an argument. The defendant was mad. If you'll remember, Tevin said when me and the defendant went to the liquor store, the defendant started basically freaking out, for lack of a better term, like, I hope she don't look at my phone. She better not look at that phone. And Tevin's like, wow, man, what's going on? Girls or something? He said, no, it's worse than that. And Tevin said, when we got back, we could see Cam's face. We could see the mood. We could see something was wrong on her face. And they get in an argument. She also spills something on his car, as Catherine testified to. He gets mad about that. He gets mad because she wants food or water. He gets mad for her going in the house. I guess he gets mad because she's breathing. Cam was crying. Cam, if you'll remember on the interview, Tevin's like, man, she was always blowing up that boy's phone, talking about his brother over here, Ryan Cooper. Cam, I told him to leave her alone. She just would not stop blowing up his phone. Man, that's some psychotic energy with her. That's what Tevin said on that interview. She would not stop. But yet, who did Tevin take up for that day? Did he take up for his brother? No. He took up for Cam. Man, you can tell she doesn't feel good. Let me get her some water. Let me get her something. They almost got in a fight over it. The two brothers, Tevin Davis and Ryan Cooper, the defendant. He's grabbing her out of the house. Tevin said he was tussling with her. He's getting her into the car. And he left. Tevin said driving aggressively. Catherine Hall said spinning rocks. She even told you, spinning rocks. Flying out in reverse, that driveway, because this is a gravel driveway. And Cam was heard screaming. Cam was heard screaming by Tevin. After they left Tevin, they went to Albany. We know for a fact. We know for a fact that Cam never left Albany, Doherty County, alive. We know that for a fact. We know that after August 15, 2022, her phone never used again, as far as on her end. We know that. Defendant, like I told you, he stayed in Albany. He left after midnight on August 15th. So, of course, once it's after midnight, it will be the 16th. He goes to Love's in Cordell. Now, remember, in the interview, and I think it's in the testimony too, he says he got to Love's in the afternoon. He said he was there a little over an hour. Because remember, he's in a rush to get to Savannah to pick up this load. He's in such a rush. But that's not true either. That's a lie too. That's a lie too. We know he got there shortly, sometime after 2 a.m., and we know that he stayed there at Love's Truck Stop 5 hours, where he's supposed to have dropped her off. She got out of the car. Lieutenant Peterson told you, I reviewed hours of Love's video. Hours. Inside, outside, trash cans, trucks, the back where the big trucks are. I reviewed it all. Hours from the time period that he was there. Not one sighting of Cam. Not one. There is zero evidence Cam was alive in Cordele. Zero. Initially, when they found out that's what he was saying, they sent a Chris deputy. They didn't want to wait to send, they wanted somebody over there quick, so they sent a Chris deputy, Officer Foreman, to go check the video. He went inside, showed the workers a photo of Lacambria Toomer. They had not seen her. He looked at the video himself too. No. She was not walking around. No Cam. She was not walking around at Love's. She was not at Love's alive. The defendant told you through his interview he spoke with her on August 16th after she got out of his truck at Love's. The cell records say no, that's a lie. The cell records say it. We know that's not true. When they finally talked to Tevin Davis again, he told them, finally, he did. I think he was hesitant. Y'all can hear that interview. You can see him the first day on stand. He's hesitant. He said, look at the roof. Defendant told his brother, look at the roof. Tevin looked up, saw the little, like he described, blackish, reddish dots, looked like dry blood. The window was shattered. Tevin had been trying to get his phone back. We know that's a fact because we know he was calling the defendant about the phone. He told you that. The cell records prove it. And then the defendant continues to travel with Tevin's phone. The cell records and the cell data showed that. And we know Tevin had got his phone. He had to buy a new one because Tevin's phone had brains and blood on it, just like the defendant told him it did. He would not give him his phone back. And what else did Tevin say that the defendant told him?
Your question. What Lacambria at?
I don't know.
He ain't tell you nothing. What did he say he did to Cam? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Go ahead. What you say he did to him?
It's some shit I'll never forget. Honestly. It's fucked up. Like, he shot him. I looked in the car. I looked at the roof. He asked me, he said, you know what that is? I said, no. I said, what is it? He literally told me, that's brains on the roof.
And Tevin testified when the defendant was telling him that he had a gun in his lap. He had a gun in his lap. And Tevin testified that he was worried about his family. Worried about his family. Remember, he said, I ain't worried about me. I'm from the streets, but I'm worried about my family. You don't know that You don't know what somebody who's done something like this will do. That's what he said. Because the defendant's always carrying a gun. I mean, that's just been shown time after time after time. The aggravated assault, he had a gun. Catherine Hall previously saw it. Matter of fact, she didn't just see it, she described it. It's a Glock 19 extended mag. Tevin said on August 15th, while he was at his house, he had a gun. Because he kept it, he said he kept it right down here. By the seat in the console, right down here. That's where he kept the car. And remember, when Tevin's saying this to the officers about what happened, they've not went down and got all this stuff from the Audi yet. They've done that first search, but then they go back and say, wait a minute, we got to go get this car again. Because see, you got to see, after the first search, the car's gone back to the defendant. So they got to do another search warrant and go get this car. And we're just going to talk about all the search warrants. You just go through them. We're not going to go through each one. Y'all seen the evidence. But this photo right here, that magazine that's right there by the driver's seat, the console, that's where he kept the gun. Exactly what Tevin described. This is a magazine. The headliner with the blood. The headliner that's concentrated blood over the passenger side and then goes over toward the driver's side, but it's not as much because this is the person who got shot right here in the passenger side. And Engler testified about that. And Dr. Downs did too. A high energy event, and I can't think of anything else that would cause that kind of pattern except for a gunshot. And again, that's another close-up. And you'll have the headliner back there. You'll remember the GBI circled two places where they took the test from, the test that confirmed it was blood. And not only the test that confirmed it was blood, the test that they were able to get a DNA result that matched her mother, Melissa Thornton. And then, this window. You see this window. They go get the car. That plastic's over the window. Remember, Tevin said when he was driving it after August 15th, 2022, that he had some kind of like plastic bag, like a grocery bag or something over. At this point, he's got some plastic. I asked APD, I asked Billsby, I said, did y'all put that there? No, it was like that. Even Tevin said sometimes he'd park it behind the house and try to board it up. This window that wasn't gone on August 15th, 2022. And the testimony was that the window was either partially down or all the way down because of the amount of glass in the door. The door where the bullet hit and went through. And there was glass in the car too, fresh glass. And there are some of the glass in the car. And y'all have all these photos with you. And then in the door, the bullet hole. And Engler was saying how the door was most likely open because of the way it went in. And the copper fragments. But not only that, as that this went through the door, the foam of the door, all the way to the inside of the metal of the door, and protruded but did not go through the outside of the door. And we know what happened that day on August 15th. Because the window was intact prior to that. And the seat cushions, you'll have that. The seat cushions that the defense says, well, that's not blood. Well, it is. When it ran down, they tested what ran off the cushion. They also said it is blood. The expert said it's blood. Every expert said it's blood. They know it's blood. We know it's blood. Initially, APD said it was blood. There's no one other than the defense that says it is blood. And remember, the console, you'll have that evidence with you too, where you can clearly see the blood on there. Clearly. And if that's not clear enough, look at this photo. You don't have to leave your common sense at the door. You don't have. How do we know it's blood? Well, we know that she's missing. We know that he's admitted to his best friend of shooting her. We have the bullet hole in the door. We have high velocity spatter on the top. We have her DNA. We have the blood running down the console. Oh, well, they didn't swab that. No, if you remember, the testimony was a lot of the stuff they couldn't even get to until they removed the seats, till they started cutting stuff up. Engler told you about the patterns, what happened, how when she's hit, that bullet goes this way, shatters the glass. The reason there's so much blood on the console because Cam's falling over on the console and it's just draining out, enough to fill up the bottom part of that console till it reaches that silver bar. And this was the demonstrative exhibit that Engler testified about what high velocity looks like. Looks pretty familiar. Looks like what's on the top of the defendant's car. And you got to remember, he cleaned the car. How do we know he cleaned the car? Because he told Tevin Davis he did. We know he cleaned the car. You'll have all these photos back there with you. He just didn't count on somebody removing the seat. Because see, that's the thing about it. When you commit a crime like this, you think you cleaned it up, but you start digging down deep, and what do we have here? You have the blood on the cushion. It has to be blood on the cushion, because it drained down and they tested it and it was blood. Again, the console, more draining from the back. And Dr. Downs, he said, like I told you, it's a high energy blood pattern. He said, I'm confident it's blood, as everyone else did, and it's Lacambria Toomer's blood based on the DNA match. And it led to her immediate death because by the experiment that he requested APD to do, they put 2.5 liters on their cushion, test cushion, which is in evidence. He said that the stuff, he had his hands on the stuff, the cushion, the headliner, all of it. More than 2.5 liters was in that car. And there is no way, unless she would have got an emergency transfusion within about 4 minutes, that she could have survived. And he said she died right there because there's nothing to indicate blood trailing out of the car. Like she left the car. She died right there. She could not have lived due to the blood loss. And well, we know, first of all, no person was treated within 4 minutes. Matter of fact, we know no person was treated at all in the area. He's confident that she is deceased and had never left the car. Mr. Edwards has went over most of the law with y'all. The judge is going to give you a copy once she charges you with the law. She's going to give you a copy of the jury charges, which is the law in the case, the law that you have to apply the facts to. And as Mr. Edwards told you, venue is one of them. That we have to prove as a state where the crime was committed. It has to be tried in the county the crime's committed. If it cannot be determined what county crime was committed, venue is proper and may be proved in any county in which evidence shows beyond a reasonable doubt that it might have been committed. We know she was killed based on the evidence in Dougherty County. And she was killed on August 15th. She was killed on August 15th, 2022. And if she was killed on August 16th, or 17th, or 19th, which we know she wouldn't, but if she was, it rolled over to midnight, it was the 16th, it does not matter. It does not matter. That's not even material. As long as we prosecute it in the time that the law says we have to. You can prosecute malice murder at any time. Any time. You can prosecute felony murder at any time. You can prosecute the remaining charges within 4 years, which we have. She was indicted in March. Actually, I'm going to give you the exact date. March 11th of 2026. As long as the remaining charges were committed between March 11th of 2022 and March 11th of 2026, which we know they were, that's what we have to prove. But we know from the evidence that Cam didn't survive August 15th. Mr. Edwards has already talked to you about malice. Does not mean ill will or hatred. It can be formed in an instant. That, an instant. You don't have to sit here and plan it, premeditation is not required. It's not like the things people think or see on TV. In an instant. We don't have to show why he did it. All we have to show is that he pulled up his arm and shot, which is clear. Again, Mr. Edwards talked about felony murder. You don't even have an intent to cause death. You cause it during committing a felony. Aggravated assault, assaulted a person with a deadly weapon. He sure did that when he shot her. And a firearm is a deadly weapon by law. Aggravated battery. We know that he seriously disfigured her because Engler testified he even saw pieces of biological material. Pieces of biological material. Skin, scalp. He said he saw the hair and could tell it had been that the hair and the blood had been as a result of the gunshot wound because of how the hair looked. How the hair looked and how the blood looked and how the skin or the, well, I guess I'll say, biological pieces that he said he found. I would say if you get shot in the head, you're disfigured. Disfigured. You're disfigured. Testimony, Dr. Downs, which Mr. Edwards said was skull fracture, face caving in. But we know he had a firearm. I mean, that's his thing. He has a firearm. He had it that day, and the day before, and the year before, a year before. We know he had a firearm because he shot her with it. And he concealed her death. Whether he put Lacambria Toomer in Albany when he was driving around for 10 hours, whether he put her in Savannah, which took him, he almost probably could have got to California by the time it took him to get to Savannah, whether he put her in Hawaii, does not matter. He concealed her death because all you got to prove is he concealed her death to hide or hinder the discovery of whether she was unlawfully killed, of whether she was murdered. And that's exactly what he did. The defendant is guilty of every count. It's not one or maybe two, no, every count. As Mr. Edwards said, by overwhelming evidence. Overwhelming evidence. He's guilty by the law, he's guilty by the facts, he's guilty by the evidence. And I'm asking you today, to bring Lacambria Toomer home. Bring her home. Thank you.
You had reached a verdict. If so, would you please hand the verdict?
So we're going right into the verdict, you know. And guys, I was looking to see, because I was like, this had to be a record, a record. So the jury came back in within 24 minutes with their verdict that we're going to watch. And believe it or not, this is not the fastest verdict. The fastest verdict is like 6 minutes. I can't remember where it was at. I gotta get my phone, but it's 6 minutes. And the world's fastest verdict was 1 minute. I don't think anybody's gonna beat that. I don't even know. They couldn't even read the instructions. Like, I don't even know how that worked for 1 minute, but whatever. But his was 24 minutes, so he didn't sit back there long. So whatever she did, as far as her sitting up there talking, it must have put it together for them. So let's just watch the verdict, see what his reaction is, if there's any reaction.
Up so the court can review it just as to form, and I will return it back to the foreperson. Thank you much. Okay. All right, hand it back to the foreperson. Would the defendant please stand? Madam foreperson, would you stand and announce the jury's verdict, please?
I need to read it, the counts.
Yes, ma'am.
As of count 1, on the charge of malice murder, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. As of count 2, on the charge of felony murder, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. As of count 3, on the charge of felony murder, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. As to count 4, on the charge of aggravated assault, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. As to count 5, on the charge of aggravated battery, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. As to count 6, on the charge of possession of a firearm during commission of a felony, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. As to count 7, on the charge of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. As to count 8, on the charge of concealing the death of another, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
All right. Would you circulate the verdict form to counsel? And is there a request to poll the jury?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the court is going to poll the jury, and that means that I'm going to get my hands on the Oh, 1 second. I need the jury list. This is it. Okay. All right. I am going to call out your juror numbers according to the jury stripe list. But ladies and gentlemen, when I call out your number, I'm going to ask you 3 basic questions. I'll ask you if you heard the foreperson read the jury's verdict. I'll ask you, was that your verdict in the jury room? Was that verdict freely and voluntarily made by you? And is that still your verdict? All right? So, juror number 1, please stand. Juror number 1, you heard the foreperson read the jury's verdict, correct?
Yes.
Ma'am, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was that verdict freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is that still your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Looks like juror number 14. Ma'am, you heard the foreperson read the jury's verdict, correct?
Yes.
Ma'am, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was that verdict freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is that still your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Juror number 16. Juror number 16, you heard the foreperson read the jury's verdict, correct?
Yes.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was that verdict freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is that still your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Juror number 18. As foreperson, you read the jury's verdict, correct?
Yes.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was that verdict freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is that still your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Juror number 19. Juror number 19, you heard the foreperson read the jury's verdict, correct? Ma'am, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was that verdict freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is that still your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Juror number 24. Juror number 24, you heard the foreperson read the jury's verdict, correct?
Yes.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was that verdict freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is that still your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Juror number 27. Juror number 27, you heard the foreperson read the jury's verdict, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was that verdict freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is that still your verdict, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Juror number 28. Juror number 28, you heard the foreperson read the jury's verdict, correct?
Yes.
Was that your verdict in the jury room? Was that verdict freely and voluntarily made by you? Is that still your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Juror number 32. Juror number 32, you heard the foreperson read the jury's verdict, correct?
Yes.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was that verdict freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is that still your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Then I have Juror 37. Juror number 37, you heard the foreperson read the jury's verdict, correct? Was that your verdict in the jury room? Was that verdict freely and voluntarily made by you? Is that still your verdict? Thank you, sir. You may be seated. Juror number 38. Juror number 38, you heard the foreperson read the jury's verdict, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that verdict freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And juror number 43. Juror number 43, you heard the foreperson read the jury's verdict?
Yes.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was that verdict freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is that still your verdict?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as well as the alternates, when Mr. Davis got up, he commended you all for being an exceptional jury, and I concur in that conclusion. I want to thank you for your service, and I want to thank you for the grace in which you served. And I am aware that we inconvenienced some of you, and we sincerely apologize. I sincerely apologize for that. And I'm going to work to see if we can do things a little bit different moving forward. But ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, when you get that jury summons, look at your calendars. And I think some of the problem is everybody thinks the jury serves about a week. In most instances, that's correct. But there are occasions when it goes beyond. And this was a longer case with,
Okay, we don't have no reason to listen to all that mess there. I don't know what she's talking about. Yeah. He guilty. I don't know. She apologized. She about to explain about the jury stuff all over again. So see, like I said, we were able to wrap this case up in one day, guys. How exciting. Yay for us. Okay. Updates. So they have the juror count up to 12. So they're only looking for 6 more jurors, guys, in the Clancy trial. I think that we'll probably have opening statements maybe tomorrow afternoon, maybe, or maybe Thursday. Yeah. Well, I would say no later than Thursday, you know. Thursday. Okay. Other stuff that's going on. So y'all have to let me know. I know that y'all gonna watch the Toxic Love when it come out. Are y'all gonna plan on watching it tomorrow evening after we get out of everything? Because if so, then I'll try to see about doing like the maybe we do the readings over the weekend or so. Maybe over the weekend or something. I grew up 2 streets away. Wait a minute. Let me see what we got here. What you talking? Let me see. Let me pull up on screen. I'm sorry. I grew up 2 streets away from where Open All Hours was filmed. The property has this week gone off on the market. Many of us are hoping that it gets awarded a disc in memoriam. Two streets away where Open All Hours was filmed. Open All Hours was filmed. What's that? I've never heard. What is that? Carrie. Open All Hours. I'm trying to understand what I'm reading because I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. Because I'm like, Open All Hours. Not crime. Oh, if it ain't crime, I don't know nothing about it. No, I'm just playing. I do have a life outside of crime. Thank you so much, Amy. You see, I got it now where they come on the screen for everybody. I think it's so awesome and cool. Oh, that's awesome, Carrie. So, you said, oh, it's a classic? Okay. Oh, I'm going to Google it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Google. I'm going to use Google, my friend. So, what we have, okay, so we got, we searching because, they want a jury of 18. So they can have 6 alternates. I'll try to fish around on the internet tonight to see what the jury makeup is looking like now. So we can have some kind of, I don't know. I guess some kind of idea. I don't know. I don't even know if I don't know if it's going to, I don't know what difference it's going to make. They're going to have to get somebody that sympathize with that part of it. In the David trial, just so you guys know, a whole bunch of disgustingness is coming out. I'm pretty sure y'all kind of figured that will probably be coming out with him. So just a whole bunch of nastiness is what I've been seeing come through the headlines in regards to the David trial. Although we cannot be in the actual, courtroom with different reporters reporting on it. I may do, I don't know. I may do like a updated stream where we can update on different things that people are reporting in regards to the David trial, since that is like a hot topic. Another thing that I was looking at was Pamela Smart. Now, I don't know if you guys had seen Pamela Smart's trial. I didn't watch her trial. I watched more or less her Lifetime series, the Lifetime movie that they had. So that's what I watched. I didn't watch the actual trial, but I think her trial was televised. They saying that she might get a new trial, y'all. I don't know, but yeah, that's what I was seeing. That she may get a new trial. So I know she had a hearing the other day. It was like an hour and 40 minutes. So I was thinking of maybe touching on that. I don't think we'll have opening statements in the morning at all tomorrow. I think the earliest that we'll get opening statements and have an actual seated jury will be in the afternoon. So that's why, depending on what you guys want to do, we can either touch on some little stuff like that in the morning, or yeah, I don't know. I guess I have to figure it out. I guess I'll figure it out which way we should kind of handle what we should do. I don't know what we should do. But I guess if you have any suggestions, y'all could just let me know what we should do, if anything, in the morning. That's what I can tell you. Because I know once we get in this trial with Lindsay, it's gonna be it's early for West Coast people. I can let you guys know that now because it's on the East Coast. So there's gonna be some early mornings if you guys are gonna be catching it, and yeah, but our days will end early too. Yeah, so we will yeah, so I guess I'll just figure it out in the morning. I'll see what's out here. If it's what's worth touching up on, and if it's worth us streaming, then we'll stream. I'm assuming that Crime Club will have their stuff at Crime Club time for that show. So I think it's probably gonna be better if we look at the transcripts probably after we watch it. So that's how we'll do that. Yeah, and other than that, like I heard that in this David case, y'all, that they showed the photos and stuff today. I'm assuming. I wonder if they showed them to the gallery. I'm not sure if they did or not, but I just heard it was a very, very disturbing day in court. So just so y'all know. And then we have oh, that's what Gray. So we have the sentencing. He took a plea deal. Coat Gray took a plea deal, and he will be sentenced on the 24th. I kept trying to figure out why did I have somebody sentencing on the 24th with the Grays, and Dad is going to be sentenced next week. They should have just did them together, right? Just do them together at this point in time. But I don't know what his deal is going to be. It appears that the judge is going to be making a decision on that. In regards to his deal, his sentencing. So I guess we'll see. And we do have to remember that he was only 14 at the time. I don't know. I guess they know how much what they doing is wrong. I don't know. It's kind of hard when your parents is encouraging you to do wrong stuff. So, but we'll see. So that's going to be on the 24th. So we will figure that part out too, how to incorporate that into our schedule. Tomorrow is the 22nd. The 24th is Friday, right? Okay. Sweet Pea, these shows were sharing are perfect for true crime detox. It should have you hollowing with laughter. Thanks for tonight, Dirk. Oh, I'm gonna look it up. I'm Googling it. I'm gonna Google it. I didn't wrote it down on my thing, so I'm gonna Google it and see. Cause I like a good laugh. Now, don't get me wrong. I like me some true crime, but I like me some laughs too. It has to be a healthy balance. You said you going into the weekend with the L. Good night, lady. All right, well, I think that's all I got for you guys. I'll send out a notification and we'll figure out what our day is going to look like tomorrow. We just going to hang out on these YouTube streets and do some updates with the David. And Pamela Smart hearing was like an hour and a half long. I don't know why they want to give her a new trial, but whatever. I don't think she deserves no new trial. It looks like Film has dropped the link for the Discord. So if you guys want to join the Fight Club, Crime Club, definitely make sure you click on that link and go ahead and join the Discord server. I did make a tab for the Lindsay Clancy trial. So if you guys want to check that tab out, I'm trying to put some kind of helpful information on there since I did not do a a case prep on it. Yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking that we could watch some of the hearings, but then I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. It's already gonna be testy, and I just don't. I want to limit our test. So, yeah, I was real irritated looking up stuff with that case. That's what I could tell you. And I was like, okay, I just want to do the trial and kind of see, And I went around in other people's chats, and I was like, because I like to see what the feeling is around everywhere. I mean, some chats, if you say she guilty in a chat, they deleting your chat. Like, not being rude or anything, but you like, maybe she a monster, or maybe she's evil, and the mods in some chats are deleting chat. And you get to some, where some can't see past the, because it's, the medical thing. But, yeah, and I'm not really like, I kind of like, I don't know what I am. I'm gonna wait and see what the evidence show. I got different thoughts on this. So it may not be the popular thought, but I have so many questions, and that's what I can definitely tell you, whether it's mental or not mental. I think she's mental. I think all people that unalive people are mental, right? So I think all these people are kind of like mental, but I don't know if she like criminally mental. So we'll see. We'll see what evidence come out in the trial. And there were better ways to do the things that it was. I know these YouTube streets is rough, baby. I don't even say nothing in the comments when I go in there. I just be kind of like looking and seeing, and I'm like, gosh, the mods like, if you not saying that she got mental health issues, and then they deleting your chat, like, and I'm like, everybody don't believe this was mental. That's what I do want people to know. And at the end of the day, we got 3 babies that are gone for whatever in the fuck reason, as far as I'm concerned. That didn't have nothing to do with nothing. Like, golly, like, it remind me of that lady, and I don't know who I can't remember I don't know what her name, but y'all probably heard the story where she like drove her car into the water and had the kids in the car. It was like 3 kids. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like 3 kids, and she drove her car, 3 or 4 kids, and just drove her car into the ocean. I think I'm almost sure she survived, but the kids didn't. And it's like, well, I don't know. But we shall see once we get in there. We try to make it the best chat. I tell you, because I mean, like, I understand everybody got different ends of the spectrum on this. Some people are really, really mental health, and then some people like, fuck your mental health. What about them 3 kids? Care nothing about your mental health. I also think, in my personal opinion, I think she might have should have had a bench trial. Y'all remember the lady that we covered in Ohio that was the lady who said her husband was eaten by the fish, and she had killed her 3-year-old son? She had a bench trial, and he found her not guilty by reasonable insanity. But the other girl that we covered, Bianca Ellis, who unalived the baby in the seat, she had a jury trial, and she was found guilty. So I think that it is really, really hard, because when you got the jury are gonna play on emotion, and I don't know how you're gonna get past these 3 babies. Yeah, the Amish lady. Yeah, she got not guilty by reasonable insanity. She had a bench trial, and I think that this girl Lindsay, I think she should have had a bench trial. I don't know if they offer. I guess they offer it, but I think that should have been the way. Yeah, it's two different states, but the one in Ohio, both of them, both the Amish lady and Bianca, they both were in Ohio. But one had a bench and one had a jury. And the one that had a jury trial, they sent her right to jail. And the crazy part is that Lindsay, with her being disabled now, like if she go to jail, like her life expectancy rate is like really dropping, because that's probably not the best place for somebody that's up under those type of conditions. But we'll get in there and do what we can, and as far as listening to the evidence, and it's gonna be what it is. But yeah, I got a whole bunch of mixed feelings about the whole thing, because I understand it, but then I don't understand it. So yeah, they end up being in the same state as the. I know that's me, Billy. Yeah, I can't get past that part in some ways, and then in some other ways I'm like, okay, well, somebody need to pay. If we're gonna say that the hospital gave her the wrong medications, then put some of them in jail. I don't know. Put her in the mental health hospital and let's lock some of them up. Somebody need to be in jail. Yeah, I got all types of mixed feelings, and I'm like, she jumped out a window from 20 feet. Like, why 20 feet? What did she think 20 feet was gonna do? It did just what it was expected to do. Paralyze your ass. Like, it's gonna be a mess, because when I look at stuff like that, I'm like, 20 feet? Like, okay, like, what did you expect for it to do? That ain't it. In my opinion, and then, like I said, I'll flip to the other side and I'll be like, okay, well, they didn't gave her all these medications. She probably didn't know what she was doing. So it's going to be probably a lot of flip-flopping for me. And then I don't know what the husband's end game is. Because some people say the husband is just there and doing a support thing because certain fact of that civil suit that he filed, I believe it was this year. So, he got to make it, certain things have to come out in regards to it. If y'all want to look at the civil suit, I did put it in Discord, so it's there. And it kind of like provides you the timeline of how she was going to get treatment and all those different things and stuff like that. But when I was reading, I was just like, yeah, I just got kind of like flustered, because I'm just mad. I'm mad at it all. I'm mad that it happened. I'm mad that whatever mental psychosis that she was in or whatever happened, 3 lives are lost. Like, we talk about an 8-month-old. Like, what the fuck? Like, really? And then you writing voice notes to yourself talking about how you want to be such the mom to this 8-month-old and mad at the 5-year-old and the 3-year-old because you can't nurture the 8-month-old. Like, what the fuck? What is going on? Amy, you already calling your L-bops off for her? Like, what is going on? But then on the other end, I'm like, I don't know what mental health can be so hard to get treatment and get in and get you a doctor. And she tried to check herself in, and then they tell her she not cray enough, she not mental enough to be checked in. But, so I, like, what is going on? Yeah, you're right, Claire. I'm gonna try not to think about it. When we get in there, we'll just look at the evidence as we come in, and we'll figure it out. And yeah, and that's just gonna be how we do it. Yeah, we have to. I just, and it's not about what she is now. It's about what she was in that hour. That 45 minutes. Like, he was only gone like an hour. Amy, you rushing me to shut up? No. I just said, shut up, sweet pea. I'm ready to hear the outro song. Good night. She trying to get over there to the damn crime club. All right, y'all. All right, I'm putting on our outro. You got it, babe. Because I will just get up here and I'll get to talking. I had no business to even talk about that doggone song. Talking about that doggone lady. I said I was going to wait. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put on our outro song. I will see you guys in the morning. I am going to schedule something for us to be looking at in the morning. Here we go.
Sweet pea's absent, you know the courtroom lights go bright. Trials running long, but the family's here every night. Mars on patrol, shadows showing out. There's little used corners when community's about. Therapists, you know, steady holding down the floor. Behind the scenes, magician keeping peace like never before. I've been a king, a rule keeper too. Every channel dreams of a mind like you. Jason walks in, the lady loses control. Down to earth, king with the warmest soul. Film free tennis, but it's always on display. Very sweet and cheering folks along the way. And I'm really here for mess sake. Keep the laughter rolling free. Junkie shine, keep the spirits where they need to be. We're a family in the chat, side by side through every trial. Sweet pea leads the way with that fire and that smile. We debate, we laugh, we lift each other higher. This courtroom crew is everything we admire. Yeah, no matter what the case so far, we're forever take it to trial. Take it to trial. Pretty brown girl, she'll tell you what's true. Sharp as the Californians in the room. Dr. Rachel pops in while she's busy running lights. Speaks her mind every time, cuts through like a knife. And Paula brings the energy, jokes flying fast. Help me sweet pea backstage, making every stream last. The Zach shows and causing chaos just for fun. The resident cheater, but we love him, everyone. Here comes Maddie, handsome, quick with the line. Comedy sniper with the perfect timing. And then with the updates, always loyal, always tuning true crime news. He brings it to the room. We're a family in the chat, side by side through every trial. Sweet pea leads the way with that fire and that smile. We debate, we laugh, we lift each other higher. This courtroom crew is everything we admire. Yeah, no matter what the case so far, we're forever take it to trial. Take it to trial. Shamrock keeps us trending, replay queen. Holding down the algorithm like a machine. SD razor sharp, go through and through. And yeah, she adores Jason, nothing new. Drunky the bear with the white gloves, wave managing volunteers like he runs the whole dance. And the brings inside with take sharp and steady. Donna keeps it real, number one and always ready. Till he birds the back queen, receipts on tap. Easy to do what she plans right into the pack. Tennessee, Holland, drops the boy with pride. Really shows up a family for cooking for his dog. Steady carrying presents through the courtroom fog. And Brooklyn in the house, always bringing that spark. Lighting up the chat like a shout in the dark. Buckle loves her grand speak truth when it's time. Look around for metaphors straight up sublime. For her biggest supporter, heart kind of vast. Looking for missing kids, hope that truly lasts. Only fan from Singapore, flag nameless sweet. Still shows up with love every time he takes a seat. And even the part-timers keep this place alive. Caribbean, Irish, Amy, Capri Law, Hellcat, our tribe. Hearts wide open, stories shared, holding space because we care. From every corner of the world we climb to spend we couldn't ask for more.